Welcome back, everyone. It's time for another episode of Rock and Roll Confessional. I'm C.W. West.
I'm Rita Wild.
Hey, Reets.
This episode is with James Raymond. James has been in the music and film business for over 25 years. He has scored commercials and television shows, but he has also worked as a writer and producer of music. His latest project is David Crosby's album For Free, which will be released on July 23rd, 2021.
James not only co-wrote music for the album with David, but also with Michael McDonald from Doobie Brothers and Donald Fagen from Steely Dan. James has a special bond with David Crosby. If you don't know the story already, you'll be amazed by what he has to say.
So here we go with our interview with James Raymond.
Hi, CW.
Hi, James. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, too.
Rita, I don't know if you guys have ever actually met.
I'm not sure if we met at the studio when you were with Ladd or not, when you guys were doing CPR.
I think maybe, we up at Jim's house, I believe.
Oh, no, this was like at the station doing something.
Oh, maybe so. Yeah, early on. That's right.
Early on, yes.
I think we were there for sure.
Yeah.
Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you again. Thank you so much for doing this. We got a lot of things to talk about, and but
Great.
wanted to talk to you about your career. I mean, just all the things that you do. I mean, you write for film, you write for television, you write for commercials. But you also are this world-class musician that writes and produces all this amazing stuff. And you've got yourself all over the upcoming Crosby album For Free, due out July 23rd. So, first of all, just to recognize that talent, is quite an accomplishment. So thank you.
That's very kind. Thank you. I appreciate that. Boy, I feel incredibly lucky. I got to pursue my dream of playing music, and I've been able to do it successfully now for quite a few years. It feels great,
Now, your the parents that raised you, John and Madeline, I believe it was, Raymond.
That's right.
They recognized your talent right away, or fairly soon, didn't they?
They did. They only knew about my birth parents that they were in the arts, and I think they knew to kind of push me towards music, and they certainly did once they saw me gravitate to pianos. Whenever we would visit a relative or something with a piano, that's where they'd find me. So they thankfully they kind of realized it was good to push me in that direction, and I started piano lessons pretty young, like about 6 or 7 years old. Yeah.
Were they musically inclined also, or were they teachers, or?
No, they met in the church choir in San Antonio when my dad was stationed there in the Air Force. And they played piano a little bit, but mostly just singers in a choir and music lovers. Yeah, they had the wherewithal to see that that's where I should be headed.
And you play a lot of instruments, correct?
No, I know only about 7 chords on a guitar.
Really?
Oh.
And the one song I wrote with, for CPR on guitar, I used all 7 of those chords. So
no variations or anything like that, just 7 chords.
I put my thumb over the top like Graham does occasionally. No, it's basically piano, but these days, if you play piano, you can pretty much play any instrument. The stuff I've been doing lately, I've been playing a lot of acoustic guitar and pedal steel virtually on keyboards. And I play drums a bit, but I program, for demos and stuff, I'll program a pretty believable drum beat. And I have a plug-in for bass where I can get a pretty believable bass patch. In fact, a lot of the bass on David's new record is mostly me playing that trillion instrument.
That's what the synth bass is?
Yes.
Is that something that's like actually going through your computer?
It is, yeah. Yeah, it's a virtual instrument made by Spectrasonics, Trillion, and I just bring that up in my workstation and play it on a keyboard.
It's kind of like how Ray Manzarek used to play bass in the Doors.
Right, exactly. He had that great Rhodes bass. And I actually found one of those. Somebody gave me a Rhodes bass, which I've since gotten rid of, but it was the Ray Manzarek model
Wow.
that he played. Yeah, it was a cool sound.
In this time of, well, I don't know how it's been for you, but most people we talked to the last year and a half has been kind of crazy and insane. Were you able to record because you have your own studio with other people and that kept you busy, that kept you sane, or?
Yeah, Crosby's record, David's record was mainly done remotely. We, early on, I think right when the pandemic was starting, had some drum sessions, but we just mashed up and kept everything very, sparse as far as people allowed in the room. It was just us and an engineer and the drummer. And so we just kind of started with the foundation of the drum tracks. And once we had those, a lot of the other stuff I either played myself or David would come here and work, or we'd work up at a studio near his house up near Santa Barbara. And then a lot of the guitar tracks came from a great guitar player in Nashville, Sean Tubbs. I would just send him stems of the stuff we're working on, and he would send me back these beautiful guitar parts. And same with Dean Parks. He did his stuff remotely. So it was a different kind of way to make a record for sure.
I mean, we're talking about David Crosby, and I think we should back up, James, and if you can kind of give the story of your connection and how you connected, and then move forward on everything you're working on, because I know we're talking about him, but I want to make sure the listeners understand what your connection is.
Oh, absolutely. So I was adopted at a very young age, I think 3 months old. My parents always let me know that I was adopted. It was like never a secret with them, which I thought was really great. And I never searched for my birth parents growing up. I think mainly because I didn't want to hurt my parents' feelings, maybe subconsciously. I was always very interested just because, I knew I had this musical gift and I knew it came from somewhere. But fast forward to, I was about to get married to Stacia, the love of my life, when I was 30. And my adopted dad, John, said, you should really search for your birth parents. Now would be a good time. He kind of knew that I always wanted to know, and he just kind of facilitated the whole thing. He guided me through where I needed to go at LA County post-adoption services to kind of fill out all the forms and initiate a search. So I did that a few months before we got married, and very quickly, I would say within a month, post-adoptive services from LA County contacted me and said, "We heard from your birth mother. And it turns out she started looking for you right when you were looking for her." And her name, it was very strange. Her name is Celia. Sadly, she just passed away a couple of years ago. But they put us in contact. Well, before that even, they said, "Come down and sign these papers and the file is open," basically. So I went down to post-adoptive services, signed the paperwork, and they brought out this book, which had all the information. And I think some of it I was not supposed to see that day, like maybe David Van Cortlandt Crosby's name on the birth certificate. And, I didn't put it together right away. I thought, oh, it's probably just a guy with that name. I, of course, knew who David was. So Celia and I got in touch, and she came over and we met at my wedding. Basically,
oh, wow.
That was,
cool.
or leading up to our wedding.
Yeah,
so she got to see me get married. We hit it off right away. She was just an amazing woman and just super fun and wild. And she just kind of filled me in on her story with David and how they met, how long they were together. They hadn't spoken in years, obviously. And I did not try to contact David. I think I was a little reluctant to be this guy kind of coming out of the woodwork to a celebrity, so I just kind of laid back. And but we were watching the news one night and the news came on that David was in the hospital, near death, had to leave a CSN tour. And John, my dad, said, "You should really try to contact him. He probably wants to meet you." And so unbeknownst to me, he had written a letter to David at UCLA while he was in the hospital at UCLA.
Your dad?
And yeah, John Raymond did. I probably would have asked him not to do that, but he went ahead and did it. But I kind of started going through musician channels. A guitar player I was working on a TV show, Roundhouse, with, Marty Walsh, one day said, "Hey, I know Crosby, Stills and Nash keyboard player Mike Finnegan. I can put you in touch with him." So he did, and then I called Mike, and Mike said, "Wow, man, that's quite a story." David had his liver transplant by then. He said, "I'm going to go see him in the hospital, and I don't want to kill him with this news, but I'll ask him, if it's
transplant
cool."
went well.
Yeah, transplant went well.
But he died of shock.
Exactly. He was like, I'm gonna ease into it," and he did. And just a few weeks after that, I got out of the shower one morning, and Stacia said, "David Crosby's on the phone for you," and she had this look on her face like I'll never forget. So we spoke, and it was very kind of awkward and strange, but we just planned to meet at UCLA because he had to come down to LA for some follow-up stuff. So we met outside of the cafeteria at UCLA Hospital and just hit it off like immediately. Like, the first thing he said was, "I'm sorry I wasn't there." And he started kind of going on down this whole path. And I basically said, "Look, I had a great life. I had great parents. I don't feel any kind of way towards you that, that I'm mad at you or I felt slighted by it. I know how it was back then and what went on." So we just got to talking music, and just, we bonded over our love of Steely Dan. And, he said, he got quiet for a minute. He said, "Do you like my music?" And I said, "Yeah, I don't, not that familiar with it." I was gonna, no, I told him of course, I told him I sang along to all their songs as a kid, and so we just like became pretty much instantly best friends, and not long after that started working on music together, and it was very natural, and it was just kind of like working with your brother or something. Like we just hit it off, so it's a pretty amazing story, and I just feel so lucky that it went down that way, just because a lot of adopted people search for their birth parents and it doesn't work out so well,
Yeah, the disappointment.
Yeah.
Very, very serendipitous, the whole thing, just how it worked out for you, that your adoptive parents knew that creative streak was there. And for David, I respect the fact that you didn't go searching for him right away. I mean, he was, like you said, literally on his deathbed, right, weeks away, days from dying. And then, you contacted, and it could have gone either way for him also, that, he could have, why is this guy doing this? And all sorts of weird, bizarre feelings. But I mean, the fact that the DNA was so strong right there, that musical gene was there, the fact that you guys it's like you knew each other before, and you have actually really helped him become a better musician.
Oh, that's very nice of you to say. Yeah, he's, we just share a real, like you said, the DNA thing. I think we hear harmony and stuff the same way. When he started playing me his stuff, I was like, "Oh yeah, sure." I kind of came from kind of a jazz R&B background, and it just clicked. It's kind of like it was always there for me. It was learning his songs were just, I would just start playing basically and just follow him, one thing about that meeting I forgot to mention is I got to tell him, Stacia was pregnant at the time with Gracie, my daughter, and she was going to be induced into labor that night. So I got to tell him, "Oh, by the way, you're going to be a grandfather, tonight or tomorrow." So it was a pretty wild day, but the music thing is strong. I never wanted to do anything else, and then I kind of realized why.
You produced David's upcoming album or new album, depending on when you're listening to this podcast, which is called For Free. The one beautiful part I love about it is that all that harmony has been kept there. It's from the first song, which is River Rise. What beautiful, not only performed harmonies, but the sound quality. And I don't want to take away from any of their early stuff, but it does show you how technology has really enhanced the sound now and how much more rich and deep and fine-tuned it is these days. So I tip my hat to you and the whole team for being able to put together such a beautifully sounding album.
Oh, I appreciate that. We work so hard, and it's really great to hear that
to me,
translates.
Yeah. To me, in listening to it, whenever I listened to Crosby, Stills and Nash or Young or whatever configuration it was that I was able to see and to listen to, I was always, if it was live, I was always able to just be in that moment and just feel magic. That's what that music was. It was magical. And I heard a lot of that in this album that, this will probably be the closest to a Crosby, Stills, Nash record that everybody will hear, sounding wise.
Because, interesting.
Because I don't really foresee them doing anything else anymore again. But like what CW was talking about, the harmonies, oh my God, they're so spot on and just beautifully done.
Oh, thanks. A lot of the record is David harmonizing with himself, which is, a magical sound. Going back to If I Can Only Remember My Name. That first solo record. There's just a quality when you get a choir of Davids, and I think that's why so many people used him as a background singer, like Jackson Browne on Dr. My Eyes and all these other artists, because he had Gilmore. Yeah, he just had and of course his work with Graham, but and Joni. He just has he just creates this blend with himself, and it's unstoppable, And on that first song you mentioned, River Rise, I always kind of had it in my mind, one, because he was a lifelong hero of mine, but I always heard Michael McDonald on that. And I had heard the two of them sing a little bit together, but I just knew that would be quite a sound, those two singing together. So that was really cool that worked out. And Michael helped me write the song. I was kind of stuck. But I had the choruses, and I invited, and Mike said he would, I said, "Oh, I'll come up to wherever you are and we can do it up there." He said, "No, I'm happy to come to Altadena and sing at your studio." I'm like, "Really? Like, okay." Michael McDonald's coming to my studio. Great. But yeah, he came and I had the choruses written. So we worked on the chorus, and I just said, I'm really stuck on this bridge. He goes, "Well, let's finish it." And we did that day. He helped me finish the song. He sang all the backgrounds, and then we got David's lead vocal on there after that. And boy, I was really happy with the result.
And the fact that he is singing as well as he is right now, that's another amazing thing. I mean, I think he's going to be 80 in August, right? And it's like, wow, just vocally, he's still there. He's still got it.
It's amazing to me. You don't hear somebody in their septuagenarians or octogenarians singing like that very often. Maybe opera singers, I guess.
Yeah.
But man, the strength, the tone is there, and mainly the performances. He just poured so much of himself into these vocals on this record, and there was such a connection to the songs, and it really. It's kind of a tour de force for him.
When you first met and you got together and you decided to create the band CPR, what kind of pressure did you put on yourself to not only have to write these albums, 2 studio albums, and there's 2 live albums also, but also I would think that was your first time touring, and all of a sudden you're kind of getting thrown into the top arena almost of everything in the music business.
Yeah, no, it was pretty intense. Not so much making the records. That was just a kid in the candy store time. But the first song when we first met, he gave me the lyrics to a song called Morrison, just the lyrics. And that was some intense pressure because I just did not want to fuck it up. I was like, if I don't come back with something good, this could be the end of
no more Christmases.
Right. No more collaboration. So it's funny because I knew his connection to Joni, and when I was writing that, I just put his lyrics, on my piano and just tried to channel Joni, and like, what would she write to this, And that did not lead me astray, because he really loved what I came back with, and that just led. Then the floodgates were kind of open. I felt like, oh, he respects me as a writer and as a musician. I'm just gonna go for it, And but touring wise, I had done quite a bit of touring. My first tour was with jazz saxophonist Ronnie Laws. And I toured with quite a few other jazz artists, Phil Upchurch, and Take Six. I did some stuff with. I did some, mainly TV gigs with the Spice Girls. Believe it or not, I was in there. I was on Saturday Night Live with the Spice Girls.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So, and Oleta Adams, I toured with her that was kind of my first big tour, opening for. Oleta was opening for Michael Bolton in the early 90s. This was before I met Crosby. And that was a long 4 or 5 month tour, and so that was my first real bus tour. Really fun, and a great artist, Oleta, But once we got to the CPR thing, and it was like, oh, the whole band and the crew's on one bus. It's like a family. This is, it was really cool.
It can be good. It can have its bad moments too, though.
It can have its bad moments. Oh yeah. And we've had them, believe me. I think that's the main reason going on this 80th birthday, Crosby's like, no more bus tours. He's like, does not want to do that. He loves kind of being on the bus. Sleeping on the bus is another thing. And same for me. I mean, it's hard. Hey, that's what we do. We have to get out there and play for people.
I know he just canceled the tour, but I think back in March or April. Is that going to be rescheduled? Because you're part of that, right?
Yeah, I was. Boy, COVID just kind of knocked everything right out. And I think he decided not to reschedule those dates. And I don't want to speak out of turn, but I'm hoping that there will be some, whether it's a residency situation or something. I think there will be some more Crosby Live things happening in the future. Nice. I hope.
All right. Hope that you're enjoying it. Time for a quick break.
Thank you, Patreon sponsors and supporters. Hats off to you. If you'd like to become a groupie, a roadie, or a rock star by helping the podcast, all you have to do is make a pledge. It's as little as $1 a month. That's it. And you can support us. Please go to Patreon, Patreon, or the support tab on our website at rockandrollconfessional.rocks. Click on it, fill it out, help us. We appreciate it in advance because we need support from you.
And like to shout out to Martin John Rubio. He's up in the Bay Area, listens every podcast and enjoys it. So thank you very much, Martin.
Thanks, Martin, in the Bay Area, my hometown-ish.
Yeah.
So, Reed's got a nice, juicy trivia question for us?
Well, we talked a lot about DNA and that kind of stuff. So I thought, well, let's just take it one step further. And David Crosby's father was an award winner. What was his profession? Was he a musician, a cinematographer, a scientist, or an architect?
Interesting. You would think musician, but I don't know. We'll find out after the break.
Don't know. No.
Get ready for our second half of our interview with James Raymond. Here we go.
One thing about his music and where he came from was, like you had mentioned, your jazz background. And his tunings, everything that he wrote was always just a little bit different. And so the fact that you were able to, coming from your background, meet at a place where you both understood that language, I mean, that is just, that's just one of those miracles that you just go, oh my God, it was meant to be.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because his brother Ethan just, filled his head with Coltrane and so many great jazz and bebop straight ahead guys. He had the only place that he could meet that sound that he was hearing was to detune the guitar. And that's where Guinevere comes from. And Deja Vu is that these weird tunings, And I totally got that because I think when I was kind of trying to learn guitar, I never really did, but I was frustrated that I couldn't get these rich chords, and I didn't really figure out ever the detuning thing. Once we started playing together, I was like, oh, no wonder it works so well, because I love those low voicings. That's kind of my thing on piano. I don't use much in the tinkly part. I'm usually down in kind of the low mid range where he likes to write his guitar stuff, and just because you can get these rich, major seventh chords and stuff with the lower notes, which sound like a baritone almost. I just love that.
And that was what was cool about Joni Mitchell as well, is because she had sort of the same tunings, and he produces her first album, and they make this music together. And I love how it's all come around. And the title of the album is For Free, which is an old Joni Mitchell song from Ladies of the Canyon. And just a beautiful, beautiful working on that. Where did you find the female singer on that?
Sarah Jarosz is one of our favorite artists, one of our favorite singers. Yeah, we've both been fans of hers for quite a while. I think he might have met Sarah through, the Snarky Puppy connection, but they had been on some festival dates or something together, and they really hit it off. He was like, I really want Sarah to sing on this with me, and she did her vocals remotely and sent us back that perfection. She got every nuance of Crosby's vocal in that. It's so tight. She's amazing. And her writing, she just we're in awe of Sarah Jarosz for sure.
I need to go check that out.
I want to go back to that. If you can answer this, James, but the title of the album, the song is For Free. I kind of find it very ironic that in his credits, something he said is that it's a joy to make the music for you, even though we no longer get paid for it. And if you listen to the song, it's all about this, guy on the street corner that's playing music, and he's playing for free. And I'm wondering if that's all kind of David's idea of putting that all together and maybe a little stab to the music industry, to the record companies. Because, he's not making any money unless he's touring these days.
Right. I think there is, if not on a subconscious level, a bit of that for sure. I don't think it started that way. That is just a song that we often played live. Yeah. And we usually played it more as kind of a country waltz, with full band and everything. But it was David's idea. He said, I want to try it for free, Joni's tune for free, just with piano and a female harmony on it. And I thought, great. One, because we didn't have anything that sparse on the record. It's pretty orchestrated and arranged. And I just knew that he, out of all of Joni's songs, that's one that he really connected with as a performer. And I knew, that he just knew it inside out, and had a way that he wanted to tell that story. And pretty prescient that it would kind of match the the reality of the music business somewhat,
David's never been shy about things.
Yeah, exactly.
No. He's even got me like kind of bad mouthing some of the streamers, That's the only game in town though. Aside from pressing vinyl, which we plan to do, you got to kind of play in the sandbox that's there,
Yeah. Well, vinyl is still outsold, I think, every other medium last year as far as sales. So this obviously will be on vinyl, I imagine.
It will. Yeah.
Okay. And can you tell us about the cover art? And I know Joan Baez was involved with some of the art or some of the.
That's her painting.
That is her painting.
I'm not sure exactly how it went down, but they're friends. David and Joan Baez are friends, and maybe she sent it to him, and Kraz right away said, "Oh, that's the album cover, if we can get it."
Yeah.
I think Joan was very gracious in lending that painting, but it really is great. I'm not sure what photo it's from, but boy, she captured the essence of Kraz with that.
There's a lot of other people that helped out. You mentioned Steely Dan. Okay, I got to go to this song because you mentioned that you both appreciated it, Steely Dan, and that's one of the first things that you and he connected on was music of Steely Dan. And so you get Donald Fagen to write a song. I mean, come on!
Oh my God, yeah. Well, let me just tell you, like my senior year of high school, 1980 is when Asia came out, and I listened to that album every day for a year. They've always been just a huge influence on, especially Donald, and Walter. But we when we were on the road, there was several times where we kind of crossed over paths with Steely Dan, and we would always make a point to go and see their shows because why wouldn't you? And in the course of that, he met Donald, and they formed a friendship. And Crosby was always kind of asking him, "Hey, let's write something together." And so several years down the line, Donald sent the lyrics to us for that. And that was kind of a situation just like Morrison, where I had to write the music, and it was like, I do not want to fuck this up. Here's like one of my all-time idol heroes in the world. This beautiful set of lyrics, this great story. So I had to take a few stabs at that one to get it right. But when Donald came back and said that he really liked it, that was quite a feeling. And and Kraz kind of and I came up with the melody together. So it was we're like a couple of kids just giddy at the chance to work with Donald.
I mean, because that sounds like a Steely Dan record. I'm sorry. You nailed it on the music. Yeah. That's a good thing to be sorry for.
Well, I thought, oh man, this is too on the nose. Donald's not going to like this, but he did. I knew I wanted that sound. It just matched the lyrics and the melody we came up with. So I just kind of went for it and put the horns on there, and and Dean Parks, who's played on a ton of Steely Dan, played the guitar part. It was really fun.
A great bass funk that was kind of thrown in there. I really like that too. It really resonated, like thump thump, that really heavy thumping.
Oh man, that the bass player on that is my really good friend Andrew Ford, who I've known since high school. Basically, we kind of grew up together. He's been a mentor pal of mine all these years, and yeah, he's amazing. He's played with Whitney Houston and Chaka and James Ingram, all kinds of people. But he's fantastic. He really came to the party on that song.
I mean, it had to have been so awesome for you. Like, I think someplace you mentioned yourself, like you're pinching yourself because, working with Michael McDonald and working with Donald Fagen, these are the people that you grew up listening to. And it's like, oh my God, I'm working with them, just how amazing a beautiful rush that is.
Absolutely.
With no pressure.
With no pressure at all.
No.
Yeah. The production is great. I also love the fact that your daughter is on one of the songs, and that's like a real family kind of affair.
Yeah. Gracie has always been really musical, plays piano and guitar, and recently started writing really well. And that was Crosby's idea. We knew I had written that song, The Other Side of Midnight, and I knew that we needed a high harmony on there. And he said, we got to get Gracie on this. Yeah. And I had a feeling that they would blend really well, just genetically, and sure enough, it's cool. It sounds really, there's some grandpa, granddaughter thing happening there. So, and it was a huge thrill for her.
Oh yeah.
She's recently been signed to her own record deal at BMG.
Wow.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
Thank you. But that session was kind of her first, aside from us working together, was her first kind of like, you know, background vocal gig on a record. So it was a huge thrill for her.
Is that her own band?
Oh,
that got signed?
Well, you know,
she's solo artist. How's it work?
Solo artist, yeah. You know, when COVID hit, she was furloughed from her job as a casting assistant, and she said, "Dad, I really want to work on my music. I need to." And so I said, "Well, come over. Let's just start writing." And we did, and we wrote about 4 or 5 songs pretty quickly, and just kept hacking at it and working at it. And they started sounding really good. And I played them for David, and he said, "Somebody at BMG needs to hear this." So he kind of opened the door for her to get heard, and they really liked it. So yeah, she hasn't played. She's performed with me, you know, my jazz quartet. So she'll sit in. She sang background for some different LA kind of artists, bands around town, and hasn't performed out much, you know. But it doesn't really show in the way she sings. She's strangely polished with her vocals. So
did she have classical training also, like you, or?
She never pursued piano classically like I did. More so to write. She's got a good chord knowledge on piano and guitar to be able to write, and I'm sure she'll get better at those the more she plays. But you know, voice is her main instrument.
That's lovely.
James, what do you prefer most? Do you like working in the film industry, the television industry, or would you rather be working as a band member or producer for the music industry?
Well, you know, I think the top of the heap is writing and producing, just because that's where I feel most comfortable. I kind of know my way around at least my studio, and I have very talented engineer that I work with, Dan Garcia, and the best musicians around. So I feel like there's nothing I can't do now, you know, in the studio. That said, you know, the film work or commercials, television, I really love that just because it's a whole different area to work in, working to picture. It's a completely different muscle. And it's challenging in a lot of different ways than making a record. Deadlines being the main thing, and just you collaborate on records, but at the end of the day, a lot of it is very kind of monastic. I'm here writing and mixing and editing, and in film it's the same thing. You're composing by yourself, but you have to honor the picture. You have to honor what the director is asking you. And television, you have to honor the producers. You know, it's a different thing, and I really like it. I hope to do more of it. Oh, well, and playing live, you know, I didn't realize I would miss it as much as I have in this year and a half that we've not been able to do it. But just the prospect of getting to get out there and play for people is very exciting, I have to say.
Yeah. I was watching Stephen Colbert last night because he's been doing the show from somewhere, you know, upstairs at the building at the Rockefeller Center or wherever they record that. And, you know, you could just tell the vibration from the audience on the performer. You know, I saw that at Vaxaid, the big concert they threw at SoFi with Eddie Vedder and Foo Fighters, and just the fact that they were playing for people, even J-Lo, you know, it was just like, it's like music live is where it's at. So I'm all excited about that.
Very cathartic.
But there was a couple of songs that you wrote by yourself on the record, Boxes and I Won't Stay for Long. Both of them have really interesting messages in them. And I'm wondering if there's anything that you would like to share with that.
Oh, sure. Let's see. Well, the very last song on the record, I Won't Stay for Long, I wrote very quickly. It was after watching a movie with Stacia, my wife, called Black Orpheus. It was a kind of a movie filled with Joe Beam's music about Orpheus, the Greek story of Orpheus, and that, and I knew the Greek story of Orpheus. He loses his wife Eurydice, I believe. She died, and he just wants to visit her for one night or one day. I just thought that was such a beautiful place to think about, and very sad, but also I just felt like there was something there, of somebody who just lost their partner and just wanting to see them for one day, so they could. The story of the song is that our protagonist, the person singing the song, is saying, I won't stay in the other world with you. I just want to come visit, and then I'll come back. And so that's where that came from. And it was a pretty emotional song to write, and David connected with it right away and just elevated it with his performance. I think we were just talking earlier today, and he brought that song up, saying it's his favorite on the record, and I kind of feel the same, just because it's basically the two of us and Steve DeStanislow on drums. His performance is amazing on that. And
everyone's, it's a beautiful song.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The other song, Boxes. Gosh, I'm not sure where that one came from. I think the story is kind of someone who's coming to grips with some of their shortcomings and maybe making some apologies to people. So
I love the fact that, in the song you talk about giving it your all, and there's some point in that story where you give it your all. And then sometimes against other people, you just have to throw up your hands and go, okay, this is,
okay. I've hit the wall.
Yeah.
I'm done with my all.
that was my all. You don't get any more.
Yeah.
That's kind of where that one came from. That one took a while to write. I had that kind of those changes and the groove all happening, and it took a while to write the lyrics, but pretty happy with that one.
I love on the liner notes too. It's for in loving memory of Beckett Cipher.
Yes.
Did you know Beckett?
I did. Yeah. We got to hang out quite a bit when he was younger. Hadn't seen him, before he passed away tragically. I hadn't seen him in a couple of years. My sister Bailey, his sister, I would see more just because she was on the East Coast and she'd come out to shows, and I know her better. But it hit David and I very hard.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh.
Sorry about that.
We and who is the other person? I'm not familiar with that.
That's my birth mother, Celia.
Oh, okay, Celia. Oh, okay. Oh my God.
Yeah. She she lived in Perth, Australia. She was an expat that moved over to Australia, 40 years ago, I think. She just had a wild story. She was part of. I think she lived at there's a dome out in the desert in Arizona, the biosphere.
Oh, yeah,
she was part of that organization back in the 60s, I think, late 60s, early 70s. And through them, she went over to England and worked at the October Gallery in London, and then to Australia to work in the outback on a cattle ranch. So she had this crazy life, and she stayed in Australia. And so, when we met at my wedding, she had to fly from Perth, which was no.
Oh my God, that's on the other side of Australia.
It's on exactly the opposite side of the world. And what's really cool is we played a gig in Perth with CSN. So
wow.
I had gotten the two of them, together one other time at an airport stopover one time somewhere in the States, but then there in Perth, the three of us were together, and it was very strange for me. It was because it was kind of, oh wait, you and you.
It's like the little kid trying to get their parents back together to make it a happy family.
Exactly. No, they just had a blast reconnecting, and the great thing about it, she was such a feisty woman, and when she was on her deathbed, we were talking on the phone. And she said, this is when she was putting up hell of a fight. She was battling cancer and some other issues. And she said, God damn it. If Crosby fucking outlives me, I will be so pissed. So that was kind of her summed up. She was just feisty and lovely. She's a lovely woman.
That's great. All right, James, it's time for the bonus round. Woo-hoo! We're going to just throw some quick questions at you. What is your favorite concert you either attended or played at?
Oh, gosh. First concert I attended was at Swing Auditorium in San Bernardino. And it was, you're going to catch me on this. I was just telling somebody this the other day. Well, it may have been Sammy Hagar at the Swing Auditorium.
Wow.
Yeah.
Kind of his
and
backyard.
Then soon after that, Cal Jam.
Oh, God,
yeah.
Cal Jam 1, maybe? I guess it was 1. That would have been
70. No,
77?
70. Yeah, I think 78 was 2.
Yeah. Yeah, I somehow talked my parents into going to 1, and the S festivals were not too far after that. And I I could hear the S festival from where I grew up in Rialto. So it was kind of a no-brainer to go to that one. The first performance as in a concert, aside from, school, I take that back.
Your favorite performance?
Favorite performance? Oh, gosh. It has to be one of the times I played Red Rocks with David. I just think it's the most magical venue. That followed soon by Santa Barbara Bowl and the Greek. But I just love playing Red Rocks in Colorado. Got to play there a few times with CSN, and David and I, the Crosby band, opened for Jason Isbell not too long ago. And that was a pretty magical night. Yeah.
Very cool.
What was the first album that you purchased, or the first single, if you remember what that was?
It was Stevie Wonder, Superstition.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Love it.
The first 45 I was given by my cousin in Texas, though, was I Want to Hold Your Hand by the Beatles. Mm-hmm. So that launched everything.
It does for most people. Yeah.
Well, just something about those chord changes. Still, when I hear it, it takes me back to hearing it at my cousin's house in San Antonio when I was a child. That was kind of the first thing, like, oh, harmony. Wow. Okay. That's where it's at.
Who would you want to play with that you've not played with?
Steely Dan.
Yeah.
Well, part of that's not going to happen, but...
Right, exactly.
But it is a fantasy question.
It is a fantasy question.
He's going to be touring again. I mean, he played, at, what was it, Dodger Stadium, Classic Rock West or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was good. It was really good.
Oh, really good. Well, yeah. And his keyboard player, Jim Beard, who's also one of my heroes, he's pretty much got the gig sewn up. So that's not going to happen. But, aside from that, Peter Gabriel, Paul McCartney, obviously. Any of those would be fun.
What would you say to your 19-year-old self? Looking back now, these years, and everything worked out. Everything worked out.
Yeah,
correct.
No, it's funny. I was my buddy from junior high, Victor Rocha, and he's like, I can't believe you're working with Michael McDonald, because we were talking about he and I seeing Doobie Brothers at the Forum when we were both 19. I think it was the Real Love tour, and I was joking with him. I go, if I could go and tell my 19-year-old self and your 19-year-old self in 40 years, just wait, because in 40 years you'll be working with Michael McDonald. And we were just cracking up that.
Love it,
because we were just huge fans, and we both love Michael, and I think that's what I would say is, like, it's all going to work out. You are going to have a place in music. Just keep working.
Yeah, and you did, and an amazing, beautiful career. And congratulations on everything with this album for free. The production on it, the writing, the playing. It's really, really good. So I'm very, very happy
Rita,
for
thanks
you.
so much. I appreciate that. So
You're welcome. Thank
that
you.
means a lot coming from you.
So thank you. All right. Well, this was a real pleasure, and I appreciate your time. CW does too, I know.
Absolutely, James. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
of course. My pleasure.
Can't wait to see you live. So let us know when that's going to happen.
I sure will. Next time we'll have you come up here to
the
hinterlands of Altadena.
Okay.
Thank you, James, very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Guys.
So, what a unique story, huh?
A crazy story. Unique, and just glad that it kind of worked out for everybody. I mean, just how beautiful is that? You don't really expect life to be like that, but it worked out for everybody. I mean, his adopted parents and, getting to know David and his real mom. So
nice to be so supportive by his adopted parents too.
Yes, exactly.
Go find your father, go find your mother.
Yeah, just such a wonderful guy too. I mean, just, great attitude about everything in life, and what a wonderful human being. So thank you, James Raymond, for Zooming from your studio in Altadena. And we know how tired of Zooming you are, and we appreciate you doing this one for us.
Find out more about James on his website at jamesraymond, RAYMOND.com. You can also follow James on Instagram at JamesJRaymond and Facebook at James.Raymond. Yeah, because hopefully there'll be some kind of either, I don't know, he said there might not be a tour, but there might be a residency coming up in the, maybe later in 2021 or something like that. So
that would be excellent. David Crosby's new album For Free will be released on July 23rd, 2021. Buy a CD copy at your local music store or follow David's website at davidcrosby.com for the release of the vinyl version.
Go to our website to check out our show notes. There you can find interesting notes on subjects that were talked about in today's show, including some cool videos featuring James and David playing together. And we always welcome our new listeners. Thank you for tuning in wherever you are around the world. Please subscribe to our podcast. Please share our social media with your favorite rock friends. We are on Facebook. We are on Instagram. And we are everywhere that you can possibly look for us. So, okay, Reeds, trivia answer time.
Trivia question was, David Crosby's father was an award winner. What was his profession? Was he a musician, a cinematographer, a scientist, or an architect?
I'm going to go with musician just because the obvious of David and James's daughter Gracie, all music related. So I'm thinking somehow that's what it is.
I'm sure that there was some sort of musical background.
He played kazoo.
He played something, I'm sure. But he gained notoriety as a cinematographer. In fact, in 1931, he won the Academy Award for cinematography in film.
Really?
For the movie Taboo, A Story of the South Seas.
That's really interesting. Wonder where that Academy Award is. Wonder if that's at David's house.
I don't know.
Let's go call him.
Okay.
David.
Hey, Dave.
Where's the award? I want to see it.
Yeah, where is it? Yeah, that's true. But that's it for this show. You guys have yourself. Please get your vaccine if you haven't had it yet. I don't mean to be that, and I just want to go out and not be afraid. I mean, now that we're back open and stuff, I'm so happy about
California's back open, so
I just want to make sure that you stay around.
You want to get back into a mosh pit, don't you? Real soon.
Yes, can't wait. God, got to make my plans for my European Bruce trip, whatever that's going to be.
All right, everybody, take care. See you real soon.
Thank you. Have a pleasant day.